Good afternoon.
Welcome to Ham Radio Today. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Ham Radio Today. John N4AJR. And this is part 3 of the Baofeng UV-5R series. For this part, we did some field testing with the radio, a few different antennas, did some transmit and receive testing, and we took the radio out in the field, and then we had the radio sitting inside while we had another one out in the field, and did some comparisons and testing and such. And we're going to put all the results up here, along with some details and just some field analysis for a typical, what I would consider to be kind of a typical HT sort of usage. So we have some trail that goes through the woods nearby, and we went out and initially went out with the Baofeng out in the field with all the different antennas, and I had a Kenwood TH-D74 sitting inside, and it had the ABBREE, the 42-inch ABBREE antenna, fully extended, and I had it sitting inside near the desk, so it had the typical obstructions, you know, walls and whatnot. And then we went down the trail. We went roughly 1,600 feet, or about 487 meters, a good bit into the woods, so lots of trees, the open trail, but a lot of tree obstruction, and then the buildings, and of course sitting in here in the studio in order to simulate more of a realistic scenario. So we did the testing on both 70 centimeters and 2 meters, and like I said, we had the Kenwood TH-D74 inside for receive while the UV-5R was outside, and then when I went outside while the UV-5R was in here, I used an Anytone 878. I use my DMR radio. That's my normal daily driver. So the UV-5R on 2 and 70, we tested with the stock rubber duck, with the ABBREE antenna, the 42-inch, and we did 2 folds, 1 fold, and fully extended. And then I used a Diamond SRJ77CA antenna. It's one of my favorites. And then when the UV-5R was inside with the Anytone outside, we did same thing, rubber duck, the ABBREE, 2 fold, 1 fold, fully extended, and then the Diamond, the SRJ77CA to finalize the test. Like I said, it was about 1,600 feet roughly. I did move a little bit, maybe, I would say give or take maybe 10 feet through the woods. You know, I tried to move around. It's sort of like somebody who was out maybe walking, or if you were in a scenario, you and a team or friends or whatever were out moving around in the woods to get some separation, a little bit of movement. I would turn and such to try to put my body between it, believe it or not. It would affect the signal slightly. You know, just stuff like that, simulating more of a realistic situation. And then I did, you know, just comparisons of transmit, receive, audio, and the whole package. So what we're going to do here, we're going to show, we'll go through each one, show the footage from both out in the field and the radio that was sitting inside, so you can hear, see and hear the transmit, hear the audio that's coming in, you can hear the results and so on. And like I said, this is all field testing. I guess you could say, I don't want to say low tech because we're using technology, but it's more of a realistic field example versus just meters and so on. All right, so the field results for the UV-5R with the rubber duck on receive, 2 meters had a little bit of static, which you'll hear.
N4AJR radio test, 2 meters from 878 with a diamond antenna to the Baofeng UV-5R with the rubber duck.
You know, it was the least readable eye field of all three. Had the shortest distance. I did have to do a little bit of adjustment as I walked because the rubber duck I did initially go a good bit further and it lost it completely. So I adjusted that so I could at least get something in here. And then on 70 centimeters, the reception was better.
AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Anytone 878 with a diamond antenna to Baofeng UV-5R with a rubber duck.
But it was still the least readable. It did a little better with the distance though, and the instructions, which, you know, I expected. And then on transmit, 2 meters was mostly clear.
And for AJR radio test, Baofeng UV-5R on the rubber duck antenna on 2 meters.
It was a decent signal. Audio was good. 70 centimeters, clear, strong signal, good audio.
And for AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Baofeng UV-5R with the rubber duck antenna.
With the diamond antenna, receive 2 meters, mostly clear, a little bit of static, but you could tell it was an improvement over the rubber duck.
And for AJR radio test, 2 meters, Anytone 878 to the Baofeng UV-5R with the diamond antenna.
The 70 centimeters, very solid performance, super clear, good signal.
And for AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Anytone 878, Baofeng UV-5R with the diamond antenna.
And then transmit.
And for AJR radio test, 2 meters, Baofeng UV-5R with a diamond.
2 meters, good strong signal, mostly clear, solid audio. There's a little bit of fade at the end, which was my fault. There's a few times where the audio drop or whatever was me. And then 70 centimeters was a good strong signal, clear, good audio.
And for AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Baofeng UV-5R with a diamond antenna.
And then the ABBREE antenna, receive on 2 meters with 2 folds, some static, but it was readable.
For AJR radio test, Anytone 878 to the Baofeng UV-5R with the 42-inch ABBREE antenna on 2 folds.
1 fold, there was some static. Signal faded, but I think there again, that was my fault.
Radio test, 2 meters, 7.8 to Baofeng UV-5R with the 42-inch ABBREE antenna folded 1 time.
And then fully extended, obviously, was mostly clear, good signal, the best performance.
For AJR radio test, 2 meters, Anytone 878 to Baofeng UV-5R with a 42-inch ABBREE antenna fully extended.
It's a little impractical to walk around with it totally extended, but in a pinch, if that's the antenna you had and you want to get out the best, extend that sucker all the way out to 42 inches and give it a go. 70 centimeters on receive.
And for AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Anytone 878 to the Baofeng UV-5R with an ABBREE antenna, 42 inches folded twice.
Was 2 folds, was mostly clear, solid signal. 1 fold was also mostly clear with solid signal.
And for AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Anytone 878 to the Baofeng UV-5R with a 42-inch ABBREE antenna folded 1 time.
And fully extended.
And for AJR radio test, Anytone 878 to Baofeng UV-5R with 42-inch ABBREE antenna fully extended, 70 centimeters.
Best performance, mostly clear with a solid signal. So the ABBREE did good on 70 centimeters, pretty much in all configuration. You'll hear little bits of variation, but not too much. On transmit, the ABBREE in 2 meters with 2 folds had some static.
And for AJR radio test, Baofeng UV-5R with the 42-inch ABBREE antenna, 2 folds on 2 meters.
Is a decent signal. It was usable signal, we'll say. Audio was okay. 1 fold had a little bit of static.
And for AJR radio test, 2 meters, Baofeng UV-5R with a 42-inch ABBREE antenna and 1 fold.
But decent audio. And then, of course, fully extended was a strong, solid signal. The audio was good.
And for AJR radio test, Baofeng UV-5R, 2 meters on the 42-inch ABBREE antenna, fully extended.
And then 70 centimeters transmit. 2 folds, had some static. Good signal, good audio.
And for AJR radio test on 70 centimeters, Baofeng UV-5R with a 42-inch ABBREE antenna and 2 folds.
One fold had a little bit of static, decent audio. I think it was a little bit of loss of signal.
N4AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Baofeng UV-5R with the ABBREE antenna and one fold.
And then, of course, fully extended was good signal with a little bit of static, and the audio was fine.
N4AJR radio test, 70 centimeters, Baofeng UV-5R, and the 42-inch ABBREE antenna fully extended.
So the UV-5R performed best with the diamond and the ABBREE over the rubber duck, which is completely expected. You know, there's anybody would have expected that off the bat. The ABBREE performed the best on 2 meters fully extended, but it was usable with 1 and 2 folds, and was reasonably good on 70 in all 3 configurations. So the ABBREE antenna, it does works well with the Baofeng. It's a inexpensive antenna that you can bend all over the place. It's usable on gear, backpack, belt. If you're wearing a vest, something like that, you can fold it over your shoulder. You can fold it around your forehead if you want, and it'll work reasonably well. Some of the fading was me moving right at the threshold where the signal really started to go downhill. You know, simulating stuff, I would turn, I would move, and all that, and I would adjust with all the people. It was magical once I get out there, especially with the ABBREE fully extended. That's when everybody wants to walk and jog by and look, and of course everybody wants to know what you're doing. So that made it fun. It's a way to get people in the ham radio, right? So overall, all 3 antennas will work. If rubber duck's all you've got, the rubber duck will work. It's the worst choice out of all 3. And as I tell people, if you're going to get the radio, if there's only one extra thing you can get, I always recommend getting a better antenna. The antenna makes up such a huge part of the whole system. But if the rubber duck's all you got, you're going to lose some distance and signal quality and whatnot. But if you're real close, it'll work. It'll work just fine. Although I do recommend, if you can, obviously upgrade that antenna. And then the diamond and the ABBREE both worked really well. I prefer the diamond. I run the diamond antennas on almost all of my HTs. I do have a few of the ABBREE antennas that I can use for certain applications or whatever. If I'm going to do something with it where I might be a little rough on it, I might switch to the ABBREE. The ABBREE will take a little more punishment because of that bendable part up top. And it's a little cheaper. If I broke it, I can always replace it. I mean, all of these antennas, obviously the rubber duck comes with it, but all of them are relatively inexpensive. But if I was going to do something where I was really afraid I might break something, it'd probably be the Baofeng with an ABBREE antenna. And if I had, I don't have a Nagoya on hand to test or any of that. Nagoya performance, I have my experience so far, it would have been on par with the diamond and whatnot, as long as you have one that's not counterfeit, of course. But overall, it was a solid test. We're going to try some other field tests. We're going to do some other radios. I've got some Yaesus lined up, and then I've got some DMR, some System Fusion, and some D-Star stuff lined up. We've got a lot of things we're working on for this channel and everything. But I wanted to start with the UV-5R, start with what has become wildly popular with everything right now. A lot of new people, a lot of new hams and non-hams have picked up UV-5R. So I wanted to go through the basics of how to use it, how to get yourself on the air, and some options you can do to improve its performance. Obviously, it is inexpensive, so audio quality and such, as you'll see from the testing, the audio from the Kenwood and from the Anytone and all that, it's going to be a lot better. The Kenwood, I used it in here because it's got a fantastic front end. It's a very good radio. It's also very expensive, so it's not as common an option for people, but it, just for some comparison, the Baofeng, it's inexpensive, so it's going to be a little more susceptible to interference, overloads, front end's not going to be as sensitive, and so on. But, like I said, for its intended purposes, a simple field radio, or it's a lot of an SHTF radio, or something you can use if you were in a pinch with communications team, that type of thing. It's a fantastic option. So I appreciate everybody sticking around and watching. I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope you found it informative. And like I said, we got a lot more stuff coming on the channel, so you know, make sure you subscribe and come on back, and we'll try to get a little more regular. You know, we had Christmas and New Year's and everything, so stuff's kind of got broken up a little bit. We'll try to get a little more regular with putting things out, and of course, if there's anything anybody likes to see, you know, just leave a comment and let us know. I appreciate everybody watching 7-3, and we will see you on the next one.